It is officially my birthday month. Now, when you guys will be watching this, my birthday was officially 2 days ago, but because I'm recording this in advance, it has not yet been my birthday, but March is my birthday month, and this year I am turning 29, which sounds mad to say out loud, and I want to share with you guys some of the lessons that I have learned over this past year that I think have really changed the game when it comes to my own progress, my own health and fitness, and just my mindset around all of this stuff. So if you are new here, hey, my name is Georgia. I'm a women's online health and fitness coach, helping you to step into your ultimate confidence across all areas of your life. And if you are joining me for another video, thank you so much for coming back. Honestly, I appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea. The fact that you will actually sit and watch me yabber on about health, fitness, life, everything in between is absolutely mind-blowing. So just a massive thank you. So in this video, I thought we could go through the 5 big lessons that I feel like I have had over the past 365 days of being 28, just to have a little birthday special, I suppose. So with that being said, let's get straight in to the good stuff. Number 1 is to stop comparing yourself to others. Now, this is something that obviously I have known about for a very long time, but I feel like this year specifically has been the year when I have really worked on that aspect of stepping out of comparison and just moving into more staying in my own lane. Comparison really is the thief of joy, and I have really noticed when I slip into those kind of like little holes of comparison, I start scrolling, I start overthinking. That is when I really see it affect the actions that I am putting in to better myself and get towards my goals, and also just how I feel about myself in general. So some things that I have done over this past year to really help with that. First of all, I am actually now working with a mindset coach. I don't really speak about that very much on YouTube or on Instagram at all, actually. So my coach is a business mindset coach, which means that we do look at these mindset things from specifically more of a business and like goal-oriented perspective. But in all honesty, a lot of work that I have done is working on removing those limiting beliefs around comparison to others. And also as well, just being really aware of what I consume versus what I do not consume. Like, you do not owe it to anybody to follow them on Instagram. If they are not bringing you joy, their account is triggering you in any way, you have every single permission and every single right to unfollow, mute, whatever it is. Because life really is too short to be surrounding yourself with things that do not lift you up. If something's in your life, it should only be there to bring your life up. And I'm such a big believer of that. And comparison is one of those things that just does not serve in any way. Don't get me wrong, there are positive forms of comparison, i.e. aspiring to be like someone, and that is a fantastic thing. And it's also as well about how sometimes you can look at the comparison that you're having and flip it to more of a positive. So instead of thinking, oh, I can't do XYZ, or I don't look like her, or I can't train like her, I can't lift as heavy as her, whatever it is, like I don't have the house that she has, whatever comparison like that you are sitting in, how can you flip that to a more positive of, oh my goodness, she is so strong, I cannot wait until I can lift as heavy as her. How can you flip your comparison instead of always being on the negative to being on the positive? And this has been a massive thing that has changed the game for me over the past year. And don't get me wrong, this is very much something that I want to continue to work on as I go into my next year and next orbit around this earth. The second thing, which has been a really cool and probably more recent realization, is how important performance goals are when it comes to your aesthetic goals. Now, I am quite happy to admit I am probably one of the vainest people going, and I'm okay with that. I come from a dance background. It is kind of inevitable. Any fellow dancers out there will probably understand where I'm coming from with this one. And so I've always had very aesthetic-based goals when it comes to the gym, my fitness, my training. Obviously, I have other goals around that, but my core goals have always been very much based on how I look. However, with that being said, as I went into December, I took on a challenge to run 5K every single day for 30 days, which was very much a big performance-based goal. And I absolutely loved it. And I came out of December probably in the best shape I have ever been in my entire life, and the best shape I've ever been coming out of Christmas, which is mad. I then went into January and went into prep for a half marathon that I ran at the end of last month, which honestly was the best challenge ever. And I've loved being able to really fine tune my training and really just home in on that specific goal. I'm now also working towards a high rocks, so my third performance-based goal in the last sort of 5-6 months. And again, just the level of motivation, excitement that I have over my training is like nothing I have ever experienced. And actually, I look better than I ever have. And that is purely from focusing on how I am performing towards my performance-based goals, how I am fueling towards my performance-based goals as well. So a big thing that I think I'm taking away from this year is actually focusing on the way I perform is indirectly going to positively impact the way I look, but it takes that pressure off of constantly looking at yourself and scrutinizing how you look in a mirror or in photos. I think it makes the whole process so much more fun and so much more enjoyable. And I'm personally someone that loves a challenge. And again, this is something I've learned probably over the last 5 or 6 months. I really thrive with that specific deadline. I've always had this with aesthetic goals, like I've done photo shoots and things like that. And I've always really thrived in that sort of like final build up to that photo shoot, knowing that it's really crunch time, but coming at it from a performance angle has just been amazing. And I'm honestly more in love with my training than I can ever remember being, which is something that I didn't think was possible. Like, I honestly go to the gym every day and I'm so excited. I'm like a kid going to like a water park, but in the gym. And this brings me really nicely onto number 3, which is eat to fuel, not to deprive. Again, as someone, I feel like this links very nicely in with my last point. As someone who has always been very physique driven, and I've always spent a lot of time in dieting phases. I have done building phases, but I've often found them mentally quite challenging just because of the fact of seeing the number on the scales go up, seeing myself gain a little bit of excess body fat, which I know consciously is part of the process, but subconsciously, obviously, I do find it hard. But again, now that I have these more performance-based goals, my focus with my nutrition has to be around fueling for those so that I can perform at my best. And again, I look so much better for fueling my body rather than constantly depriving my body and telling myself I can't have X, Y, Z. Disclaimer, this is not me saying you can eat what you want and look amazing. That is not how it is at all. I very much prioritize eating whole foods about 80 to 90% of the time, basically as much as I can. I rarely eat out. I don't tend to prioritize that as something to do. And that's just my lifestyle, which is fine. I may have one takeaway a week. I don't tend to have like coffees out or things like that. And all of my meals are based on whole food sources, and I cook fresh as much as possible. So this is not me giving you permission and saying that eat what you want and you'll look how you want. That's not how it works. And if anyone tells you that on social media, please send them my way. But there is honestly so much value in fueling your body with good food and making sure that you are eating enough. Don't get me wrong, if we want to lose weight and we want to lose fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit, but there is so much value in life outside of that calorie deficit, being able to maintain muscle mass, build more muscle mass, get stronger, perform better, feel so much more energized. You just feel so much better in yourself as well, because what you put into your body not only affects the way you look, but it affects your mood, it affects your sleep. It's honestly mental. And I can honestly say I am in the best shape from a physique standpoint. I'm performing the best I probably ever have in my entire life. Even though I was really fit when I was at dance college 10 years ago, I was constantly injured. My body is healthier, stronger, fitter, recovering better, and I eat more than I ever have right now. Next up, number 4, I feel like this also links really nicely onto the last couple of points I've made, and it is you can do hard stuff. There is nothing wrong with doing hard stuff. I meet and speak to so many women who shy away from that discomfort, that feeling of being out of their comfort zone, that feeling of doing something that's hard, whatever it is, they shy away from it. And in all honesty, by shying away from those things, you're never going to see the changes that you want. You're never going to progress to where you want to progress, because stepping out of your comfort zone is honestly the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. Well, it never gets easy, but you get used to tolerating that feeling of discomfort more. For me, if you would have told me this time last year that in December I'd be running 5K every day for 30 days consecutively, I actually would have laughed in your face. I probably would have told you that I would end up injured or ill or burnt out. I'd feel rubbish. I wouldn't be able to complete it. I'd disappoint myself. Not because I was pessimistic. Like, I'm the most optimistic person going. And if you know me personally or you work with me one-to-one, like, you will know that I am the most positive Polly out there. But I just probably would not have believed that I was capable of something like that. And I did it. Likewise, if you would have told me even like in the summer last year or at the beginning of December last year that I was gonna run a half marathon in February, I probably would have been like, not sure that's gonna happen. Like, that's a bit too soon. XYZ, I don't have enough time to prepare. That's another thing. You know, sometimes actually giving yourself a deadline that seems a little bit tight, you will rise to the challenge. And the same with competing in high rocks. If you would have told me that last year, I'd have gone, I can't do that. That's way too hard. Or, I need more time, or I need to make sure I'm doing X, Y, Z in preparation. Like, I wouldn't be able to do it as soon as April. Honestly, you can do so much more than you think you're capable of, and it often takes somebody else who is an external to your situation to look at you and your circumstances and go, you are capable of this, and it allows you to then rise to that challenge, which is why I work with a coach, to be continually pushed outside of my comfort zone. So the last lesson from the last 365 days that I want to share with you guys for this birthday special episode is that it is so important to shout from the flipping rooftops about your own personal achievements, because you are your biggest cheerleader and you are the only constant in your life, which sounds kind of crazy to say, but when you zoom out, nothing is given, nothing is constant in your life apart from yourself. No one is guaranteed to always be there to support you. No one is guaranteed to give you the praise that you want, give you the validation that you want. So if you can learn to get that from yourself, honestly, you're going to go so far on this journey. And whoever said it is embarrassing to shout about your achievements and your wins, please send them my way once again. Because being able to acknowledge your achievements and acknowledge how freaking proud you are of yourself is such a superpower, and something that I see so many women just aren't able to do, which is why I place such a big emphasis with my clients on celebrating their own wins and celebrating their own achievements and shouting from the rooftops about themselves. Because every single one of my one-to-one clients I am honestly insanely proud of, and I will always be their biggest cheerleaders, but it has to come from you. You have to be the person that is there cheering yourself on, even when things feel hard, even when you feel like you haven't got any wins. There is always something positive going on in your life. And if you can learn to literally be your own biggest cheerleader through life, honestly, your progress, A, will accelerate because your self-belief is going to go literally through the roof, but B, it means that you never have to rely on anyone else for that validation. And this has been a huge learning curve, especially towards the latter part of this year. So to round up this video, this has been the 5 biggest lessons that I have taken on board from the past 365 days, or my last orbit, I suppose, around this earth. Before I turned 29, I wanted to make sure that I shared this with you guys. And obviously, like I said, by the time you're watching this, I will have had my birthday and 30 will be even closer, which is crazy. But honestly, another year older and definitely another year wiser. And I hope that you found some of these points super helpful. If you guys do want more information on my one-to-one coaching, I will put my application form down below. You can fill that out. And if we're a good fit to work together, then I will make sure that I reach out to you so we can take you through the next steps and potentially look at you joining Team GE Fit. But in the meantime, if you guys need anything else, feel free to drop me a message on Instagram. And if you like this video, make sure you pop a thumbs up down below, because honestly, it helps so much. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.